Hello and welcome to game number 2 of the AMD Premier League quarterfinals. It is TongFu taking on MiTH, and one of these two teams will be up against Rising Stars in the semi-finals, who earlier today have beaten Orange to get that slot in those semi-finals. One game up for TongFu this game, as they previously in previous game beat MiTH quite convincingly, and we're gonna see if MiTH can force out a game number 3 or if TongFu is gonna make it a 2-0. And I won't be alone for this broadcast. I will be joined again by Basskip.
Hey Sheever, nothing more that I'd like to be doing on my birthday than sitting here watching.
Happy birthday! Oh my god, you haven't said that?
Yeah. Well, it's only just gone. Well, it's 1 o'clock now in Australia. But
you did it, yeah. Jesus.
My 20th today.
Happy birthday! Oh my god, I feel old. Thank you for pointing it out.
Oh, no, nobody's calling you old.
People watching the stream, it's Basskip's birthday. If you want to wish him happy birthday, you can do that on twitter.com/Basskip with B-A-S-S-K-I-P.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Tweet him happy birthday. Go.
Fantastic.
Great.
And yeah, Dota. I love it.
Dota.
And
That's what
MiTH.
we're watching. Oh my god, look at that! I have not seen this before! Asian Dota banning out a gyrocopter.
So something's gonna make it through, and something, probably something reasonably big.
Well, we still have the Nyx Assassin.
Probably the next
Never
gun
mind,
for
we don't have the Nyx Assassin. We have the Magnus though. Again. And the Shadow
Even
Demon.
Shadow Demon? Yeah, I kind of want to say. A lot of teams rate him so highly. And especially if you can first pick him, it means that you can take the Leshrac as your third pick, and I think everybody knows how good SD Leshrac is. It's a brutal roam. You get the disruption and off you go, but...
Well, they rather want the Magnus than the Shadow Demon, and this means, like, we saw previous game with, they had an anti-mage, and they had a lane with that didn't really offer that much security for the anti-mage. At least only the Rubik kind of offered that. Sand King not really doing anything much there. And this game, TongFu's gonna take the same path, but they get the Shadow Demon, so they get security for the anti-mage. He's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, and interesting to see the value that TongFu place on the Shadow Demon. I mean, a lot of teams would see the Magnus, think, okay, we need to have a deterrent for the Magnus, and let's pick up the Rubik, but TongFu, they're gonna take the SD. And I guess it helps cover the AM pick as well, because AM just does not like laning against Shadow Demon. I mean, a lot of people will adjust to go for the no mana burn build, but if you pick up mana burn and those illusions are hitting you, then you're not a very happy end.
Not at all. You're gonna be in deep trouble as well if that's an aggressive trial lane. They will be able to kill you off because you won't be able to blink away at some point. And instantly, MiTH knows what they're up against. What are they gonna do? It is gonna be a safe lane, I would expect. Anti-mage in the aggressive trial lane, not really something that you often see. So it is probably going to be a safe lane, so MiTH can actually adjust against that, but do they want to shut down the anti-mage? Do they want to go down that path and go for an aggressive trial lane and actually, you know, risk losing the aggressive trial lane? Because they have to know they're the underdogs here. And you can't really assume that your aggressive trial lane is going to work against a team that you rate highly, so you can't underestimate your opponent.
For sure. And MiTH, I actually really like the picks, but they're looking a little bit light on the lockdown here with the Coddle and the Weaver, so interesting to see how this is going to be laned. And TongFu, with the anti-mage, they're not locked into sitting on top of him in a tri-lane. I mean, they can look to go aggressive and leave him on the safe lane, so we'll see what TongFu are going to be going for here. And interesting again to see where this Clockwork is going to be laned, because we did just see it mid, but
yeah, move Clockwork.
Fairly strong offlaner.
As you said, he only missed one hook in the entire game, I believe. At least for the ones that we saw. So it's gonna be a very strong lane if they're gonna be laning it mid up against the Magnus. Definitely possible. Score out of the cogs you can still do, but it still will burn away your mana. Then again, if you have a Keeper of Light, you can restore your mana. We have got a Weaver pickup, can be going on the suicide lane. We've seen that a lot. And if they're gonna be going for an aggressive trail lane, then that Weaver will be able to go on the safe lane. And they will be able to have the Keeper of Light on a possible aggressive trial lane. And TongFu banning out the Alchemist. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting to see the Alch. I mean, Alchemist, I think, actually a little bit underestimated as far as aggressive trial lanes go, because recently Unstable Concoction was kind of fixed. Previously, it was counting up all the way until it hit. So you know, it's a 6-second duration, and it counted all the way up until 0, so the damage kept increasing. But it's actually only supposed to count up until 2, because the way that it works in Dota 1 is that you count up and then you have 2 seconds of max potency. So they recently fixed that, and it actually makes him quite a bit stronger with the concoction as a stun. So yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to see him maybe a little bit more in tri lanes, but yeah, that's just like the minor bug fix that I guess is worth pointing out.
That's true. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm kind of distracted by the Queen of Pain ban out. There goes my hope of seeing a Howl Queen of Pain. Actually, I might. Oh no, that would make me biased. I'm not gonna be biased. Never mind.
No, you gotta root for MiTH Trust.
Yeah, to see a game number 3.
We go to game 3, and then we get to see some Queen of Pain. So
hopefully,
maybe we can, for the sake of Sheever seeing some Queen of Pain, maybe we'll politely ask TongFu to just let this one slide.
Can you please make sure that happens? Well, more carries getting banned out, no surprise there. It was actually a Darkseer that still gets banned out by MiTH. I mean, were they up against that in the previous game? I think they were. Yeah, Darkseer was in the jungle, so they don't want to have that again. I think TongFu might be wanting to have another jungle hero. I mean, it suited them so well to just get that gold advantage rolling, but maybe with an anti-mage now, they might be trying to try something different, but I'm kind of hoping for them, for their sake, that they're still going to be putting something in the jungle. TA is the last ban for MiTH, and one last ban for TongFu to go out, and that's probably going to be another carry. Might still be a Luna to get banned out.
Yeah, could see Luna. I could actually still see MiTH going aggressive here, or either TongFu or MiTH going aggressive here. Weaver's actually in tri-lane versus tri-lane. Weaver is just fantastic at zoning out AM because he's pretty squishy to physical damage early on, and Weaver does actually a surprising amount with Geminate. So yeah, I don't know. I think MiTH and TongFu both have options here, but TongFu they're gonna be able to get at least one good follow-up support. I mean, both Lina and Leshrac are both still in the pool, Jakiro as well, and I think they're gonna be sitting pretty with that Shadow Demon. So support should be able to get quite a lot done in this game.
I agree. They're taking their time though, going into the bonus time, and Naga Siren, a hero that we've seen a lot of support role as well, actually in Western Dota.
Yeah, and synergizes really nicely with the Keeper of the Light. I mean, if you're netted, you're not going anywhere. So
your Illuminate is gonna hit. Yep. That's, and of course Magnus can set up some nice RPs with this Song of the Siren as well, but not this game, because he gets banned out and MiTH has to decide what else they're going to be getting. They need another carry unless they want to use Weaver as a carry, in which case they need an offlane, but I'm kind of thinking Weaver safe lane solo, which is also what TongFu is expecting, so I'll just agree with them in this one. And they don't have that much time left. This is all the time they have left, and I don't know.
It's the Sand King again.
Yeah.
And I mean, TongFu again have space to pick up another ranged support, which is gonna make things. It's gonna make things tough. And I mean, even seeing MiTH's lineup, I mean, I don't normally like seeing Rubik and Shadow Demon on the same team because they kind of fulfill the same role. But I mean, when you see Sand King, when you see Magnus on the other side of the pond, I don't know. I think I would be tempted to, especially with Cobble as well. I mean, there's some very, very stealable spells for Rubik right now. Tons of mobility,
5 seconds
tons of damage. Though I'm biased, Rubik is my favorite hero. So you know, maybe I just wanna see some Rubik.
Well, he would fit up really well because not only can you steal the Illuminate and the Burrow Strike, but also the RP and the Shikushi should not be underestimated. Is a lot of early game damage also if you see it when you are just level 6 as a Rubik, but.
And he got buffed recently as well.
Yeah, that too. But I kind of also imagine that also with the Soul Catcher. By the way, that's even sicker. But you kind of can't imagine that because that would be laning phases, and when Rubik is level 60, probably laning phase is over. But I'm kind of wondering if TongFu is still gonna go for that jungle hero because they had that previous game, and I'm kind of thinking they could still do that because no aggressive tri lane right now is going to be, or not with the Keeper of Light Sand King, is going to really be able to kill off the anti-mage because Shadow Demon is not going to let himself get caught out, and there will be a disruption for the anti-mage if he gets Burrow Strike, so he will miss the Illuminate.
Yeah, I mean, TongFu could be really greedy and get
10 seconds
a jungler,
remaining.
but I think the bigger deal is just making sure that their solos are going to be
5 seconds remaining.
Strong. Again, I'm still not 100% if MiTH are going to be going for this aggressive try with Coddle Weaver Sand King. But TongFu pick up a Leshrac. They've got a huge combo with Shadow Demon. I think we've been seeing this for months now.
Yeah, in all scenes. also.
Yeah, Leshrac doesn't get the opportunity to leave the metagame ever. I mean, I think he's been around since TI1.
Yeah, before that also,
Yeah.
because I remember one of the first, or when I just started casting, I of course watched a lot of other casts to try and get these standard knowledge things and stuff.
10
So I always
seconds
said like
remaining.
Leshrac, one of the heroes that is strong in early, mid, and late game.
5
Basically, that was
seconds
my line
remaining.
that I constantly said. And we've seen a lot of Leshrac solo mid, of course, as well, when, you know,
10
last year.
seconds remain.
Phantom
So we can-
Lancer.
Wow,
Oh.
still a Phantom Lancer.
TongFu's turn to pick.
Okay, so
Keeper
Myth
of Light
Trust are
for
going
PL.
for the we have Coddle PL. We would like to win the game now. It's
Yes.
good against AM. It's good against AM because AM can't actually just say, "Oh, I'm going to outfarm the Phantom Lancer." That's absolutely fine, and then I can just cleave down all the illusions. That's not something that can happen.
No,
So-
no, in a man fight, a Phantom Lancer will win
Yeah,
when
exactly.
full
So
item
An-
slots.
10
Yeah, so
seconds
Anti-Mage can't
remaining.
just sit back.
Spirit is alive.
TongFu, they've got no intentions of sitting back. They're going to pick themselves up as Storm Spirits. So.
Yeah. So there's gonna be mid-storm clockwork on the off lane. I'm kind of still hoping to see Shadow Demon and Leshrac roaming around a lot because I don't think the Anti-Mage will need them that much, and I think the yeah, I think it's gonna be a safe lane for Myth Trust, but we'll find out, I guess. But I'm hoping that because they can be aggressive. They have got Storm Spirit. When he gets level 6, he can be aggressive. Disruption, Split Earth are gonna be there, and they just want to buy time for How to farm up. So it is going to be How on his Anti-Mage, Moo on the Storm Spirit, his Sunshine playing the Shadow Demon, Banana on the Leshrac, and that will leave only one player. That's King J playing the Clockwork on the Suicide Lane solo.
Do you want me to do?
Yeah, please.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's
Okay,
okay.
so on Mythtrust we have R5 again playing the Sand King. TNK is going to be on the Magnus. SD going to be playing the Weaver Lakells on Phantom Lancer, and that leaves, well, last but not least, Mula to play the Keeper of Light, and he is standing in for Myth this game.
Yeah, and I do believe safe lanes would be the way to go, even though Weaver doesn't really look like he is going to be going for a Suicide Lane for now.
30
I don't know.
seconds.
I'm
to battle.
seeming to remember that Sand King is actually one of the signature heroes of R5, but I'm not entirely sure. I have to say that he does have a very cool outfit.
Yeah, he's very decked out. So,
Yeah.
gets bonus points for that one. Let's look at starting items. So it looks like Coddle is going to be... Yeah, so Myth not looking to be aggressive in the slightest. We don't have a smoke picked up. I don't know where R5 is actually going right now. I think he's going to do some warding,
The
but
battle
it
begins.
really looks like Coddle's just going to be maybe farming up the jungle a bit, trying to get those levels and just defending as long as they can. Oh,
Did you see that?
yeah,
He
Weaver-
stole the invisibility rune with the Shikushi. He's
Shikuchi,
actually
Shikuchi into Invis, yeah.
yeah.
He needs to be careful though. There are definitely sentries. A lot of people would say, "Oh, it's a free invis, it's a free experience rune," you know, as a nickname for the invis. But SD's gonna have to be really careful here and make sure that he keeps track of the sentries at all times.
Yeah, and he probably already knows that one is being placed the moment that he sees Leshrac, so he's not gonna be. He can't be showing himself all too much. At least he's gonna be blocking a pool maybe. If he he can't do that anymore. Not enough duration. But he is gonna be on the solo Suicide Lane by himself. Magnus in the middle lane, and that leaves a semi kind of tri-lane on the bottom lane with Keeper of Light and Phantom Lancer there to harass King J as much as they can. And R5 is actually pulling and stacking in the jungle and gonna try to get as much as he can there without really getting any farm that or any experience that Lakells would need.
Yeah, and I mean, Myth can basically have a jungler if either Keeper of Light can come down and blast down stacks, or Sand King can even opt to get 1 or 2 points in Caustic and actually help clear them out very, very quickly. So, Myth, hopefully, as we head towards 10 minutes or so, should be sitting at a little bit of an experience lead.
Looks like King J is already in some trouble. R5 walks past the cogs twice, is now no longer the owner of mana enough to go for a burst strike, which it looked like he wanted to do. I mean, he just walked in there, didn't hit a single creep, got down to half HP, below half mana.
Yeah, I mean, just clicked the Burrow Strike on King J and that pathed him straight into the cogs. So
Yep.
unfortunate. And again, I mean, Sand King's stun is just so weak at level 1 in terms of the range. And
In the meantime, SD is trying to get as much as possible. Is actually able to pull Centaur towards his lane. Gonna be able to deny some of the creeps perhaps if Banana doesn't take them anyway, which is actually the case. I mean, you see him being very careful. As you said, he already know that Banana has that central ward placed, so he can't really get in range. He has got a bit of experience, but I'm not surprised to see him being this passive.
The nice thing for him is that TongFu are actually opting to have the Leshrac harass the Weaver out of lane, and I mean, Weaver, you don't really want to fight him 1v1 early, so I'm interested to see that Sansheng is the one doing the pulling, because if it were Shadow Demon trading blows with the Weaver, then he'd have to be a lot more cautious, because you know there's always the potential for him to get disrupted, and Leshrac comes out of nowhere.
Yep.
But AM doing a fine job of harassing him back anyway. And I guess we should make a deal that we're only going to call Weaver SD and we're only going to call SD Sansheng. Otherwise, this might get confusing.
Oh, you're right. I didn't really think about that yet, but you're right. Sansheng, SD. Sansheng it is. And SD actually being forced back to base out of mana completely with those burns, as you said. And gonna be level 1 still. But by the time that he comes back, the central ward will be gone. The first central ward. And I don't think Banana is gonna be placing a second, because, or at least not yet until he knows he can actually get a kill with that.
And the nice thing as well for MiTH is that the supports don't need all of this experience that's sitting in the jungle right now, so SD can actually come down, have the supports clear out the stacks for him, and just soak up the experience. So, I mean, MiTH have another way to kind of jungle the Weaver. I mean, even if he's just diligent and since they're stacking, you know, he can get some experience up. So the support combination for MiTH does give them more options, gives them more flexibility, and I mean they're the stallier lineup. They've got the Phantom Lane, so they're not really looking to risk too much. It's all on the shoulders of TongFu to you know, get stuff done as we head towards the mid game.
Yep, and Storm Spirit's still level 5, but the moment he is level 6, we're gonna probably see him being a lot more aggressive, because like you said, they are the ones that are supposed to be determining the pace, because they can't sit around and wait until Phantom Lands are as big and fat and ugly. It's all gonna rely on the aggression of TongFu, and maybe a bit of a push on the top lane, which is already starting to happen. Gonna be going for the tier 1 tower, realizing that there's no longer a Weaver there. Actually, there is, but at least able to force him back. An edict already from Banana. Level 2. Fortification forced out. SD trying to gain some experience here perhaps, but he'll see his tower go down.
Yeah, and I mean he's having such a tough time. But
Yeah, oh, How is having a bit of a harassment issue. Whoa, wait a second. It is gonna be Moo who's gonna be harassed here in the mid lane. Hasted Magnus coming around. But King J coming in as well to help out.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
SD completely out of mana now.
Dire's bottom tower
and
is
How
under
gets the
attack.
last hit on the tower as well. 2.5k gold on Anti-Mage, almost 5 minutes in. That is. I mean, the question was, well, is Anti-Mage going to be
Dire's
relevant
bottom
before
tower is under
PL?
attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the answer is yes. So we'll see. I think there are definitely decisions for Lekels to be making this game, whether or not he's going to be going for a very farmy build, or whether he's going to be going for, you know, a little bit more aggressive in team fight. But TongFu, I don't know if they're giving him a choice. They're going to go for the tier 2 on top.
Yeah, and they're gonna be forcing also the other supports to come in here. Illuminate's flying through. There is a Sand King hanging around. Sansheng taking a lot of harassment from that Illuminate. Tower is still getting harassed though, and that Edict will be up again in 6 seconds. TPing coming from the Weaver, very aggressive TP. And they will be able to stop the push from happening with that one, but I mean, Tower only down to 300 HP. One more push, they will be dead. And what can MiTH really do against it?
And the really nice thing for TongFu as well, going for this push, is that it frees up space for King J on bot. So he's almost level 5 already. He was already having an okay time because the supports were running pulls and stacking things up instead of trying to harass him out of the lane. But now that they've TP'd top, as soon as he saw them, he just walked straight in, started soaking up experience, and level 6 shouldn't be too far away for him.
Oh, and TongFu looking for first blood, because we still haven't had a first blood, and Sansheng and Banana with the smoke up going for mid. They have to be careful though, because an RP is on the board, and Magnus also has an illusion rune. So it's not going to be an easy job. Actually, TNK sitting on full health and mana. And he has got some backup as well.
Yeah, they suspect what's going on this time. And we talked about this last game. TongFu were the ones, you know, predicting the movements and seeing what was going on. But, oh wow.
Nice,
You know, we talked at the same deal. We said, you know, well, Moo was being great because he was just, you know, throwing rockets everywhere, keeping an eye on where the MiTH supports were. We've got the exact same deal happening mid right now. So I think this, we'll see if this gank attempt continues.
My loyalty.
Yeah, I don't think so. TongFu already backing off, and the rest of the supports also realizing that they have been scouted out, and Myth also retreating. So, well, that was an attempt at first blood, but both thinking exactly the same. That doesn't work that way, so oh well. If you were to say right now, if I was asking you, you know, where is the first blood gonna be? Where? And who?
Ooh.
And which
where
team?
and
so.
who? I don't know. I feel like there's still a really good chance that, well, keep your eyes on Shadow Demon and Leshrac. I think is all I can say, and maybe the most likely is probably SD at top. He's still having a really rough time, and there's always this temptation to just push things a little bit further, get that little bit of experience out.
Extra last hit. Oh god, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just one more last hit. I can take this one. They don't come yet. I can relate.
Yeah, and I mean, TongFu, they're hunting. They've got an observer ward in the lane, so even if the lane is pulled all the way back, SD isn't necessarily safe.
I have to say, by the way, that Myth Trust is making very good use of their jungle, a lot more than TongFu is. They have been stacking and pulling every single camp, and their supports are getting a lot more than the supports on the Dire side right now.
Dire's bottom
Well, I
tower
say
is
a lot
under
more,
attack.
even though Keeper of Light doesn't even have boots yet, but they keep also the wards up, so in terms of that, they do have, they just have a lot more control, it feels like, even though Sunshine just stacked as well, so they're trying the same thing, but they're only doing it with one camp, while Myth is doing it with two.
Yeah, so everybody's banking up a little bit of experience. Looks like tier 2 on top, in trouble. SD the only one defending for now. We'll see if anyone else is going to come in. Yeah, Keeper of the Light wasn't actually carrying a TP there. He's going to pick one up now, but it's a little bit too little too late. So that's another tower going down, and how? I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, this Battle Fury is none too far away at the moment. Actually, still a little bit.
Yeah,
But we're only 8 minutes in.
Goldgraph going, of course, very much in favor of TongFu with those two towers down. But if you consider that there are indeed two towers down, and Antimage did indeed get one of those last hits, and you look at the net worth and you compare Antimage and Phantom Lancer, Lekels is doing really well. Still. He is 1k gold behind, but with the tower difference, that's actually nullified again. As soon as he gets
the supports are doing a lot to help maintain this situation. And how can a blink into the trees on top? TNK is hunting. I'm not gonna find him. So.
Oh, and the RP of course up. Also one of those abilities that you have to watch out for perhaps getting a first blood, as Moo is actually a bit risky in the jungle. I mean, I keep scouting out the top bar for yeah, and he just scared me, thinking he was gonna die, and I didn't think he was near a hero. He wasn't. He was in the jungle, but yeah, very risky. And also one of those heroes, Storm Spirit. If he ball lightnings in on the support, if that support is by himself,
mid.
Keeper of the Light will die. No, it was Unchained that died, but yeah, that was
all wrong. I guess we should have been looking at. I guess the Shadow Demon part was right.
The Shadow Demon part was right, but what was he doing there? Because Banana was nowhere to be found, or at least not close enough to do anything really. And I think he was that greedy one that said, "Oh, one more last hit, I can be here."
One more last hit. The supports aren't here. They're not looking for me. They're looking for Anti-Mage.
Yeah, they're gonna kill off as a hero that matters, not little old Shadow Demon. Yeah, well, he paid for that. That was just pure overextension, risky play. He can only account that to himself. As King J is also getting harassed a lot. He of course still has to deal with that annoying Phantom Lancer, even though he doesn't really have the support of the doesn't have the support of the Keeper of Light anymore. And the Ball Lightning is of course there, the Vortex as well. They do have the Dust with them as well. Lekel's a bit low on mana. We'll have now the Keeper of Light again to fill him up in 3 seconds. But yeah, he has to be careful.
I don't know if he suspected something has gone wrong, or if he's actually just gone back for mana at the moment. So
how do you think it like this? Like, they are leaving the Observer Ward standing there intentionally, so that King J is apparently alone, or apparently alone. There goes the Vortex. Lekel's gonna be in trouble. Illuminate will fly through though. King J might be in a lot of trouble. He actually dodges it. Never mind, that actually still gets hit and will not die, even though Phantom Lancer does die. Moo picking up the kill. King J getting out barely with his life. And he thought he was gonna die there, but no can do. And now they can destroy the Observer Ward from him.
Yeah, I don't think TongFu are gonna take no for an answer with that gank. We have Dust up on both Storm Spirit and Clockwork, and Sansheng brought sentries. I just don't think there was any stopping them there. I think PL was, unless he was hugging all the way back behind the tower, he was gone.
Yeah.
PL is going for a slightly fightier build. He's picking himself up a drum of endurance, so not really rushing anything to help him speed through the jungle. It's just going to be maybe a little bit more early game effectiveness, which kind of nice to see. They do know that they got pressured really hard by TongFu last game, and TongFu are looking to do stuff. I mean, they've got huge initiation from both Storm and from Clockwork, so hopefully that'll be consistently used to consistently get kills.
Yeah, and of course also buy time for How to get his extra farm up, because he is almost ready with his Battle Fury, and when that happens, he is gonna go out of control. I mean, he is already so far ahead on net worth, even now with, of course, Lakel's dying, that helps him out a lot as well. No towers down yet on TongFu, helps him out as well, and he is gonna be given the time by MiTH if MiTH isn't doing something to shut him down. And they are not. They still have an RP on the board that they haven't used yet.
Yeah, and I mean, in abilities, you need to not be waiting around forever for the perfect team fight for. You see a kill, you take a kill.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in the situation for MiTH, you can't be saying, oh, eventually 3 of them will dive and I'll get the RP and, you know, that'll be a great team fight. You just gotta say, you know, Weaver needs help, Phantom Lancer needs space. It's up to me and the supports to be doing things, and I mean, Magnus needs to be setting things up. He's at level 9, he's at a huge peak in effectiveness. He's got, you know, the maxed out skewer, he's got reverse polarity off cooldown. I think hopefully see him do something instead of just farming. He can maybe afford to farm to his blink, but beyond that, hopefully, you know, TNK, I put the weight on his shoulders last game, say, winner, you know, you had an okay lane, you did the best out of all 3 lanes, you know, you need to be the one trying to get something done, and yeah, hopefully the same thing will happen, you know, this game. It's the same onus on him.
Yeah, and they're actually smoking up and going top. Anti-Mage is the target, but Anti-Mage, he actually went in the forest to farm. That kind of means his Battle Fury and his treads are ready. He doesn't need lanes. Strong Anti-Mage need no lanes. That's what he says. And yeah, he can just farm in the jungle with without any problems. In the meantime, I kind of like that. I mean, during the draft, we said that Lishrak was one of those heroes that you always see, and you know, is probably never ever gonna fade out, and has been played also on solo lane, solo mid earlier on. And he is actually gonna be the one that is trying to get some farm here in the mid lane, trying to get those levels up, and he wants to be that Lishrak that can just walk around, run around with his Edict up, with his Nova up. Maybe
look how
get
suspicious How is. Look how suspicious he is. He's sitting all the way at the top of the map. He knows something is up. I mean, he's lumberjacking his way into those trees. He is 100% suspicious that something is happening right now.
With the only one visible on the map being Lakel's and SD.
Yeah,
and, and while before, of course, I mean, Magnus has not left his lane up until now.
Yeah, you know, this all smells a bit fishy, but TP switch bot. Oh, this is trouble.
Keeper of Light goes down. In the meantime, in the mid lane, we also have an RP. It's Banana that they want, Banana that they get. And then bottom lane, the fight continues as well. We might have Mu trying to jump for someone. No, that was it, actually. That kill on the Magnus and on the Keeper of Light. 2 fights happening at the same time. You saw the TP. Magnus TP'd bottom because he thought it was going to help there. Realized it was too late. Let the Keeper of Light die. Went for Banana instead. Got the kill. Without an RP, actually. Just a burrow strike. But a support for a support trade. Still okay-ish.
Yeah, and every time you murder the Keeper of Light, you kind of enable a push a little bit, so... You know, keeping him down, not a bad objective. Though he is already level 8. I mean, this jungle farming from MiTH has gotten the levels on the supports. I mean, Sand King's already got level 6. He's got some arcanes up. Blink will probably be a while, but yeah, I think MiTH making the right moves. They're still yet to really lose too much presence. They just have to hold on to these tier 1s, and then I think they're kind of sitting pretty. Just got to keep Lakel's defended as well. Yeah,
we have got the Blink Dagger up on the Magnus. In the meantime, so we're gonna see some more aggressive play from him hopefully soon, as he still hasn't used his RP yet, even though we're 15 minutes into the game, and he's level 10, almost has level 2 RP actually. But yeah, he can of course go a bit more aggressive right now. But the thing is, I guess, I mean, I understand why they're not. I mean, they're in no rush. They don't want to be going into a fight when they don't know they can take it, because they have got a Phantom Lancer. In theory, they don't need to worry about, you know, making haste and ending this game. They've got Lakel's, and Lakel's is still doing okay. She is second to Anti-Mage in the net worth, but in time he will be able to be even, at least in fights, if not on net worth.
Yeah. TongFu supports are smoked again, but oh, and Kingjae's walking around. This could be tough for Lakel's.
Well, the Demonic Purge is there. Where's the sentry? Where's the dust? Where's the sentry? Where's the dust? Oh my god! They went for a gank with
Yeah, it's
King
only on
J had the
J.
dust, and there goes the mana for TNK. Maybe he can get something though. He can get banana perhaps. Edict helping out. Burst strike as well. Whoa, bye. Lishrak, no RP needed for solo little on Lishrak. In the meantime, Keeper of Light goes down in the middle lane. That was a solo kill that Mu got on his Storm Spirit. I mean, Keeper of Light, one of those heroes that if he's by himself and Mu is around, he will die every single time. And How just continuing his farm. And he bought something. Ooh, Vlad's. I like that. Means that he's ready to fight earlier than we perhaps anticipated, and also that MiTH perhaps anticipated on. So might see a bit more aggression coming off from TongFu soon.
And then the nice thing as well about the Vlads is just the split push power. It means that he's going to be keeping people occupied all the time. I mean, if you send only the Keeper of the Light to try and defend against the anti-mage, well, you know, AM, similar to Clock or Storm, is just going to be able to jump in. And yeah, that sort of keeps things at 4v4 or, you know, similar for MiTH the whole time, for TongFu the whole time, which is, you know, not a situation that they're wholly unhappy with. And the Vlads as well, how straight to the Roshan pit.
Yep, soloing, he can do that. Can he do that? We'll get a bit of help from Banana actually. We do have the gold graph fairly even, I have to say, with now also a tower going down the way of MiTH. Of course, there's still one tower in difference, but in theory the gold graph is basically 0 for 17 minutes into the game. Experience graph a bit more in favor of TongFu, but that's just for the pure control, because basically MiTH has been trying to fight in Rome, while How has been able to fight, or to find farm regardless, and TongFu just, you know, making more effective use of the lanes when MiTH were farming. Were looking for kills, that is. Wow, English hard, I know. I have to say, I'm happy that this game is a lot more even than the first game that we saw.
Yeah, definitely. I think well, MiTH have definitely found their feet, and you know they're getting the farm. They've got a game plan, and they're sticking to it, which is really nice to see. And Lakellis has a Diffu up now as well, so TongFu, for the most part, they're actually carrying dust, and that's, you know, they're gonna need at least 2 dust for every single gank, just because, you know, gonna be able to purge it off. So that makes, you know, PL just that little bit more survivable, and should continue to close the gap a little bit to How. I mean, he just got a huge burst in farm. Oh,
that was a solo kill. Orchid ready on Storm Spirit, and he shows for it by killing off Weaver solo. Uses all his mana for it, but definitely worth it. We did have anti-mage taking down the neutral over the agent stack in the meantime, so gets a lot more extra gold. And I actually thought that a MiTH was about to be going for a smoke, but with that kill on the Weaver on SD, they can't do that anymore, so they don't. At least they were grouping up.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Get some tower gold.
Yeah, PL getting some pushing done. Nice pick off for my move. Sorry, my eyes just weren't. I didn't see that one coming at all.
Me neither. I kind of.
Well, I mean,
I missed
you gotta keep an eye
ready.
on Storm at all times, right? Now that he's got his Orchid, he's just a solo killing machine.
Yeah.
Just the green dot needs to be a priority. But MiTH, they're still holding on to that objective that, you know, they really need, and that's those tier 1s. They've still got, you know, control over their entire jungle. They're still stacking, they're still farming. Lakellis is getting items, and you know, it's just up to them to keep stalling this one out. They gotta let the cancer metastasize.
Yeah, it is anyone's game still at this point. I'm still waiting for that big ass RP that I know will come, because why else would he save it for such a long time? But no RP yet in this game.
Level 2 RP. Yeah.
Blink a level 2 RP. Oh, we do have some trouble for How, but he blinks himself into trees and is able to chop himself into safety, into the hands of the ancients that he will gladly take the gold of. Yeah, the shutdown is just not enough. They need an RP to shut the anti-mage down. The only thing they have basically is a burrow strike. That's the only disable that they have. Oh, by Keeper of the Light. And double damage remove. I don't think he even needed the DD room.
It's not even fair.
Yeah.
Poor Coddle.
Even though his team was like very close by, they couldn't do anything.
And now that they've killed the Coddle, they've enabled the push. Fortification
And Magnus, he's gonna blink in, gets a 2-man RP. It's gonna be How and King J. The silence is up there though. Disruption also to help out. It's gonna be TNK that goes off first. Sand King to follow straight after. Lakel's trouble, dust it up, running for his life. I don't think he'll be able to run from this though. Nope. Last one alive is the one that is not there. It is gonna be SD's Weaver that came in too late to the party, and it is a 4-for-1 trade. And well, 4-for-1 plus a couple of towers, I guess.
Yeah, SD's gonna try and slow things down a bit. Yeah, I mean, TongFu, they just need to get a couple of kills, and with that, I mean, they've made life a lot more difficult for MiTH. They've just lost control of, well, safe control over part of their jungle, and how, I mean, he's got no interest in giving Phantom Lancer any farm. He's actually going to be, you know, clearing out their jungle as well, so.
And that
TongFu
was
immediately taking control.
the second time, actually, Phantom Lancer died. How has not died yet at all. There's been actually 3 kills, which is quite surprising, considering he's been farming most of the time. And it is, yeah, it is TongFu that is now definitely pulling up ahead, and that's also because the RP, I mean, there was no follow-up. Because you said it already, Keeper of Light wasn't there, he died.
Yeah, I mean, Coddle's dead, SD wasn't in lane. And I want to just talk about the Weaver for a second, and just like, keeping an eye that, you know, nothing too interesting is going to happen bot. But in taking the Weaver as their offlane, you know, MiTH are trying to ensure the late game a little bit more. They've got PL and Weaver, 2 heroes who need time, they need space. It's just... and I guess they're paying it for a little bit. R5.
Yeah, I'm gonna get silenced up. Still gets a burst strike off before anything else though. It's gonna still get killed off most likely. Actually, Stickdart is helping out. Never mind, Moo is not giving up. He's gonna be giving up his ages just for that kill. And the rest is all gonna be running away from that one because they know they can't do anything. Also, Moo backing off.
Yeah, so just another pick off for TongFu, but every single time they're 4v5, I think they're just gonna keep pushing. And how already with the Manta style finished. I mean, this is, what is the GPM right now? 600 GPM. Yeah. I mean, he got a tower last hit. He got a huge stat, but
that is still
impressive.
pretty high. We do have, I mean, Weaver was saving up for a lot of gold. He had at some point 3,300 gold, and I was thinking, well, maybe he still wants to go for a Radiance or something, but he just changed his mind, I think. He just went for BKB, got himself the Ogre Club and Minthor Hammer, and will be going for that BKB recipe next. And I think that's basically the result of Moo.
Yeah,
just so he can farm.
When you're Weaver, you want to get, I mean, most Weavers prefer to get the rounded combinations of stats. You know, Weaver, one of Weaver's favorite items is an ultimate orb, you know, things like that. But in this situation, and most people are kind of loath to get a BKB, but when you're against the Storm, you have to. I mean, it's way too dangerous for him otherwise. And speaking of BKBs, Moo has his up as well.
Yep, will be even more tough to take down. Hook in, gonna be finding Lakel's. He is gonna get bursted down. There is an RP to try and help him out. Well, Burst Strike is actually there as well. Epicenter is either late or cancelled. It's gonna be how that still picks up the Clockwork, or picks up the Phantom Lancer rather. Clockwork goes down. Sand King gets picked up. TNK in a lot of trouble, going down as well, and that is gonna be a monster kill for the Anti-Mage, or monster kill for Moo rather, but a double kill for the Anti-Mage. I mean, this is out of control right now for MiTH. They have to try not to fight, and that's tough in this lineup, especially if you're gonna get an a Storm Spirit against you that wants to kill you off no matter where you are.
It was a brutal turnaround. Yeah. And again, I mean, SD's just not close to the fight. MiTH have 3 heroes at the moment who have any interest in sort of slowing things down, and I don't know, maybe I can't think of necessarily who would have replaced it. Maybe they could have made their offlane pick a little bit earlier. I mean, we actually saw that picked in the first 3, didn't we? The Weaver. So we could have even seen someone like a Darkseer instead. You know, brings a little bit more team fight, get the fast mech. But instead, MiTH, they aim slightly towards the late game, and you know, now things are starting to look tough. They've lost control of their jungle, and TongFu aren't going to let them have it back. I mean, how is, I think, here to stay.
Yeah, and all the outer towers picked up as well. I kind of like, we have an RP there. I think the epicenter was cancelled, right?
I'm not 100% sure what happened to the epi. It may have started, and then, you know, things got a little bit weird with the coordination, and maybe Moo managed to get the Orchid off, since it's pretty much, you know, it's instant. The only time that a Burrow Strike is long enough to get your epicenter off is if you shift Q the Burrow Strike, and you're also so you shift Q the epicenter after the Burrow Strike, but you're also standing behind the hero, so they have to turn around. If they're facing you and they have an instant ability like Hex, then yeah, and
Moo instant trouble. Burrow Strike is there. Is the Ball Lightning gonna be in time? The BKB is there, and the Ball Lightning. Hello, how? Welcome to the party. Man of Void not gonna be able to kill off anybody just yet, as more Storm Spirit still goes down. It was Weaver coming in, RP up on Anti-Mage just to get away. Should be able to be alive. Oh my god, what are you gonna do? Another Burrow Strike just to save his Sand King. And it's gonna be the Sand King that goes down to Anti-Mage just to save his Magnus. There we go, King Jane, a lot of trouble. Lakel's coming in, Lakel's He is gonna be going down if he's not careful, and he indeed drops Bananas. Edict picking him up. King J still alive. Weaver not so lucky, going down. Double kill for Leshrac. Banana having a happy time, and the only one that died there who was the Storm Spirit was in the end Moo, that found himself in the hands of Weaver when he was running out of that fight. But the return kills coming in, I kind of felt like they were just suiciding just to get the Magnus out of that way. Because Magnus ran fast. And then Sand King came back on super low HP, so I was thinking, okay, he's gonna suicide for Magnus, that's noble. But then Lekels came in.
Yeah,
and
Phantom Lancer comes out of left field.
yeah. And basically, everybody of TongFu was still there apart from Moo.
I mean, the thing is that, you know, Weaver had a BKB, nobody was really looking to focus him, so as soon as they saw Phantom Lancer, they're like, yep, that guy. And it just jumped straight on top of him. So SD was able to, you know, run around and get a little bit more damage out. But as soon as that BKB, you know, where he went straight back to being a squishy bug and just got squished. So
Yep.
nice to see that he's, you know, participating in a fight, picked up a pretty significant kill, got a lot of experience out because he was the only one, you know, anywhere near Moo dying. So hopefully going to see him, you know, continue to contribute because MiTH can't afford to sit back anymore. I mean, TongFu, they're going to wait around another minute for Roshan. I don't know if MiTH can contest. They can maybe try. They're going to have a reverse. And, you know, TNK is working his way towards a refresher, but it's going to be tough. I mean, TongFu now have a very clear game plan. MiTH, they had a clear game plan, but it's starting to, you know, unravel a little bit at the edges. And another kill.
The bug squished.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, there's a pretty high turtle potential still for MiTH. I mean, with the TNK, come on, you saw that one coming. Lance is gonna help out. Burst Strike actually up on King J. Split Earth whiffs completely. Edict put up by Banana, but there's nobody around there to take any damage from it anymore, unless they can get something done. How? Passing through enemy territory unharmed. Moo coming in from the sides, maybe looking for a pickup. If you're gonna be finding the right Lekels, you might be able to do that. It is gonna be Hao that finds himself, finds himself the Sand King. Burst Strike up on 2, but the blink forward, and that is gonna be the Mana Void to pick him up. It is gonna be Lekels and TNK running for their lives. Blind and Light trying to help out the exit, but that is just one hero picked up for basically no reason whatsoever. It just was awkward movement.
I mean, Hao was on the hunt. He was all the way through where the tier 2 was mid. I mean, he's got his heart. I mean, I don't even know if there's enough damage to kill him unless they Burrow Strike and RP and Phantom Lancer sitting there.
Yep, and 9% are needed as well. Everything is needed up on Howie. I mean, he hasn't died yet, and that really shows. He's got
everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, he's got double the amount of net worth as the highest up on MiTH, which is the Phantom Lancer. Double. I mean, that's quite insane.
Immortality is mine.
I mean, TongFu, you have to commend the play of the supports. You have to commend, you know, the supporting cast, because that's what gave him the space to become the monster, you know, that he is right now. He got to farm his jungle as much as he wanted. He got lane farm. He got a tower last hit. He got a huge stack, and now, you know, it's time for him to sort of put the team on his back and win the game. And TongFu, they've got Roshan. I don't know if they stop here, you know.
No, I mean, of course, I mean, they did it all consciously. Like, they realized, you know what, we have an anti-mage farming top. That is okay, because we are going to be having a Phantom Lancer free farm. But if you look at Phantom Lancer, he kind of got ganked at some point by TongFu, got killed off, actually died 4 times. And Hao never got any form of kind of harassment. And when he did, he knew that it was coming because it was an obvious gank. And he was able to jump himself away in time before anything happened there. And look at this damage already going through the tower. Burrow Strike up onto Illuminates. They don't hurt Hao at all. And he's just going to be able to harass the tower. As maybe Lekels can do something here on the back end, but he kind of can't jump in here. It's too risky.
Yeah. And I mean, MiTH needs to be so careful. I mean, Moo, he's got an Aegis, he's got a BKB, he's got haste as well. I think if he sees someone, he's gonna jump.
Some more illusions created. He can.
But no rush. MiTH can't kill Hao.
No, and actually TongFu initiates. King J hooks in up on the Sand King. Sand King gonna get bursted down already. Mana Void picks up the Keeper of the Light. They find more. They find Magnus. They find Lekels. And everybody dies. Everybody buys back as well. Burrow Strike up on Moo, but no follow-up. As there's the RP hits up on 2. Moo and Banana gonna get skewered into the tier 4s, but Disruption is there to help save people's life. Moo's Aegis will still pop. It is gonna be TNK that gets out again to the base. In the meantime, nobody dying on the side of TongFu. They can just stand here. They just forced out 3 buybacks of Myth Trust, and look at their HP bars. It's basically not showing, apart from of course Lul, who had his Aegis popped, which is nice for Myth, I guess, but this is mission impossible.
This is so tough.
Oh,
I don't even know if Mu cares too much. I mean, a full mana bar for Storm after coming back from the Aegis is not. He's not too sad about that one.
Nope.
TongFu get the objective and, you know, back they go.
There you go. Yeah, let's see if they can. Well, they already had the Aegis, of course. I mean, they probably will want to go in again, even before they have the next Aegis. I would hope at least that they're not going to be playing that safe, because they are so far ahead right now. Gold graph going towards the 25,000 gold in favor of TongFu. Experience graph already way past that, going towards the, I would say, 40,000 experience in favor of TongFu. And if we look at levels for that, you see that there's a level 20 and level 23 upon TongFu with Storm and the Anti-Mage. Highest is actually the Phantom Lancer upon Myth Trust, with the rest already very much lower than them.
I think the Golden Experience graph tell, you know, another story as well. If you look at the moment where things started to, you know, really push towards TongFu, that's 16 minutes. That's, you know, around 50 minutes. That's when Anti-Mage is getting that Battle Fury, and that's when things just started to spiral.
That is when Magnus also left his lane to try and go for kills. That didn't happen.
But I mean, I think that's also just Myth's lineup isn't really built to lock down and kill an Anti-Mage. They've got a lot of stall, they've got a lot of counter push, and they've got, you know, they got some good team fight. But when it comes down to it, you know, you don't have anything that's just going to keep him there so that you can murder him. And you know, without that, I don't know. At this point, with a butterfly up as well, I don't know how much, you know, how cares. And I think he's showing exactly how much he cares right now.
Oh, How finds himself a Keeper of the Light. How lovely. And then it's gonna be that one down. Hookin up on R5. Burrow strikes himself out, runs himself away from that. In the meantime, his team is dying around him, dying in front of him, and he himself dies as well. Only Weaver left alive together with Lakel's Phantom Lancer, and he is gonna be TPing back to base. SD gonna be just pushing top, because what can he do in the bottom lane? Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, SD has been. She's just gonna be called. I mean, I'm not 100% on this Weaver pick. I liked it when it happened in the draft, but then, you know, finishing with the Phantom Lancer, and I think it's really a trap at the moment in the competitive scene to say, okay, we managed to get Coddle in the first round. They're not going to see the Phantom Lancer coming. You know, we can do it and we can win the game, but it just leaves you so vulnerable. When you pick up the Weaver as well, you've got 2 heroes who are just waiting. SD's dead.
Yep. And I mean, the game was at the start a lot more even than we have seen it in the previous game. But in the end, the execution from TongFu just
Again, one more time, they had a plan, they stuck to it.
They stuck to it and it worked. Myth Trust, their plan just wasn't as great, and the execution with the RP just wasn't really there. I mean, how many RPs did we really see? I mean, we saw a couple of panic RPs when the game was basically already decided, but it was just the possibility wasn't there. And you can, I can of course say like, okay, you know what, there wasn't enough RPs and Magnus, you know, bad. No, that's not true, because TongFu, of course, they knew that the RP was gonna be there, and they kind of didn't give an opening at all.
It was a nightmare. I mean, Clockwork and Storm and Anti-Mage, how do you find the space as a Magnus to initiate? It's really tough. So.
Yep. Well, we are going to be seeing TongFu taking on Rising Stars in the semifinals on Tuesday. But first, there's going to be 2 other quarterfinals, which is going to be tomorrow with Zenith. What else? We have a lot. We have 4 teams, obviously. So that will be Zenith as well as Rattlesnake up against each other at the first match of the day, and then we'll have MUFC taking on Mineski.
Yeah. Those are going to both be fantastic matches. I really encourage everybody who's around to tune in for those, because they're going to be like Rattlesnake. They showed some interesting play yesterday, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. So that's
they are an all-star team, of course, and they have been solid for a while. We're gonna see how they're gonna be doing up against Zenith, of course. I mean, again, qualifiers up against invites. Seems to be a theme. Gonna be that for Mineski and MUFC as well. Anyways, thank you for co-casting.
It's been a pleasure, Sheever.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on after just seeing a random message thrown in stream chat.
Well, two is always better than 1. So That's good. And where can people find you?
Okay, so I am under just Basskip everywhere. So it's twitch.tv/Basskip. I'm at Basskip on Twitter. It's facebook.com/Basskip. And YouTube, I think you can piece it together. So yeah, it's been a pleasure. Oh, I guess I'll do a very quick shout out to both
sure.
AQ and TYH as well. They'll know who they are. And yeah, that's it from me. Thanks, Sheever. It's been great. I love watching Dota. It's my
Yeah, I mean that's
favorite
why
thing
it's
in
your
the whole
hobby, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you gonna be casting the games tomorrow?
I will be casting tomorrow. I'm doing a show match for Dota Talk on Friday, so I hope people will be there for that. It's another win a ticket to TI3 thing, so there's details on the Dota Talk Facebook page, and then I'm casting for SheeverGaming this weekend. It's a little Australian tournament that I hope some people know about, and yeah, those are my plans for the next couple of days. So
Okay,
lots
so
of fun
make sure you check him out, people. 'Cause, I can call you still an up-and-coming caster. I mean, you've casted now for what, a few months? Longer.
I've been casting for almost a year now,
Really?
but university has just made it inconsistent. I don't know. I started around the same, like just a little bit after LD and stuff. I still remember.
Oh, I started
all of
after
that.
LD also, I guess.
Yeah. So I've been around for a while, but I guess I was on hiatus.
And
hopefully I'm back.
come with that, I mean, time schedules.
Exactly. I mean, it's currently 2 a.m. in Australia, which
Yay.
is, you know, that seems reasonable for me now because I was casting a tournament where I was staying up until 7 a.m. So I started casting at 11 p.m. I stayed up until 7 a.m. I slept until 2 p.m. and then I would wake up and, you know, cast some more. That
Go
was
again.
that was nice. Yeah, so
Oh, well.
that was fun until university started. You know, that doesn't really work anymore.
Unfortunately. Damn those real life obligations. We just do what we love the whole time and get paid for it, thank you. Would be amazing. Anyways, I am Sheever, so if you want to follow me you can do that on everything with the extension of SheeverGaming, so that's Twitter, Facebook and YouTube, and also my website, so check that out. And I will be casting actually today, because there's gonna be Staff Cup number 3. I'm not entirely sure which matches I will get appointed to, but we'll be starting with the quarterfinals, as yesterday we had the group stages, and today we'll have the rest of the matches and to decide which one of the teams is going to be winning Staff Cup number 3. And I will be casting tomorrow again as well, and then yeah, I don't know what, but at least I'll be
Remember,
casting
guys,
the rest of the AMD
support Sheever, help her get to TI3.
Yay!
So she can sign my mouse pad because
Are you gonna go?
Be there. Yeah, I'm paying my own way there. So
Nice.
I've got my ticket and I'll be there. I'll get a little button or something made so people can recognize me.
Yeah,
So,
make a t-shirt.
yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully I'll see some people there, and hopefully you'll be there. You know.
Yeah, I hope so
You never
too.
know.
Hope so too. Anyways, I'm gonna be jumping out of this game, so be right back. Stick around. Staff Cup number 3. Don't go anywhere. I'm pointing at the camera, but I know the camera is not showing. How is that? That's awkward. Anyways.
I'm always freaked out by my camera.
Well, that's also not the right way to do it, I think.
Well, I'm always paranoid that it's on, and I've got it showing somewhere, and I'm, you know, like.
There's a light showing on my camera when it's on.
Yeah, I've got that as well.
Ah.
But also, if it's in the scene and it's not being used,
It's
then
on.
It's still lit as well. Yeah.
Yes,
So that's,
I have the same.
anyway.
Oh well. Anyways, thank you. I'm gonna be hanging up. I'm
Enough
gonna be
from me.
jumping out of this game. Anyways, indeed.
Sheever.
Laters.
Thanks, guys.